step by step on business. That's on my mama, watch me spin on me and split, now I can't feel it. We in the trap, we sold the city on my biddy. Take these diamonds off and show you how we lit it.
What's up? Welcome back to episode 9 of Before the Horn podcast. As you know, I am your host, Khalil. With me, as always, I got your host, Daywan.
Let's go.
Yes, sir. We're missing Dennis again for second episode. He has a lot going on with football, so we understand it. But, we got to keep the show on the road. We got a lot to talk about with, week 0 happening in college football. We had 2 ranked teams play Notre Dame and USC, so we definitely got to recap what we saw about that, as well as give you our top 5 SEC teams and our bold predictions about the SEC conference, as well as our top 10 receivers. We've been going through the position list. Receivers is up next, so we got to give you that and then give you the top 5 coaches in the NFL leading into the season. Without further ado, take it away, Daywan.
All right, welcome to episode 9, man. Let's kick this off right. Like Khalil said, we're going to start off with week 0 for the NCAA college football. So 2 main teams we're going to talk about are Notre Dame and USC because there was only 2 ranked teams that played this weekend. We're just going to talk about what we take away from week 0. So go ahead, Lil. Let them know what you think.
So, like you mentioned, we had 2 ranked teams play this weekend against lesser tier competition. In my opinion, both teams did not play really good football teams that's going to be competing for anything major when later down in the line. But I do have some key takeaways from both. I guess I'll start off with just jumping into what I've seen from Notre Dame. The thing about Notre Dame is they always want to have a good offensive line. They just built that way. Good offensive line, good running game. But I seen something in Notre Dame on Saturday that, has me a little bit more excited about what Notre Dame could be this year with, the addition of Sam Hartman. And I think it played a big role in how that offense looked and how that offense clicked. Like I said, they always going to be able to run the ball. That's just what Notre Dame is built to do. But the passes, the throws that he made, he went 9 for 23, 251 and 4 touchdowns. Like I said, it is against lesser tier competition, so you got to take everything with a grain of salt. This is not the team that's going to be competing for New Year's Six bowl games or even a playoff spot. But just looking at the plays that they made when they made them, how they executed the 2-minute drive at the end of the half to score a touchdown, put points up, stuff like that, you can take away from it. Says, okay, I like what I see. I like what they're doing. It's game 1. You're going to have your mistakes. But what you do is you go out there, you hang 42-0 on Navy. Navy scored 3 late in the ball game, but that wasn't until 3 minutes and 33 seconds left in the game is when they got their first 3 points. But so for the whole game leading up to that point, they was blanking them. So I'm encouraged with what I've seen from Notre Dame after week 0. What you think, Daywan?
Hey, I'm not going to lie. You know me. I'm not the biggest Notre Dame fan. Notre Dame, they always make it. They get pretty high ranked, then they choke and fold. We've seen it the past couple of years. We've seen it for a while now. But Notre Dame looked phenomenal. Again, I know they played against lesser competition when they played Navy. They blew them out 42-3. But I feel like this was Sam Hartman's road to comeback. We see him in Wake Forest the past couple of years, but again, we know they played the Navy. The Navy, they aren't a good football team. Let's be real. The most exciting game the Navy played this year is probably when they faced the Army. Their annual game every year.
It's just because it's a military bowl.
Just because it's a military bowl, exactly. But Sam Hartman looked crazy. 19 to 23 for 251 and 4 tubs. That's efficient. I'll take that. And Marcus Freeman, he had the boys ready to play. They look really good. But the first glimpse of Notre Dame, it's okay, maybe the team is ranked for a reason. Maybe the AP had them ranked that way for a certain reason. But still, it's all right, that's week 0. They didn't really play nobody too crazy. We still got a long way to go. We got much more college football left. But if Sam Hartman and these boys keep it going, I feel like Notre Dame could probably get into a New Year's Six game in late December or January. I could see it, but they got to keep it rolling. That's the thing with Notre Dame. They can't be folding and choking like they did in the past. Pause. But still, it's Sam Hartman, you look really great out there. Keep it going, man. This is your comeback story. Hey, hopefully you can carry it into the NFL with this going as well.
I feel you. I think what it is as well is when you look at these teams play, and it's less tier competition. They should win these games. They should dominate these games. But you look for certain things. There's certain small things that you just need to see that says, okay, this football team can be legit. And I think that's what they did. They complete the better team on both sides of the ball, and they play like it. They showed up. They played like it. They were well executed on both sides of the ball. I like what Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame got going on, especially like you said, it's Sam Hartman redemption year. Like I've always liked Sam Hartman as a quarterback, and you put the Notre Dame on the side of your helmet, it just magnifies everything because of the brand that they have. So now that he's coming over from Wake, he could really make a name for himself in college football this year. He may be somebody you keep an eye on throughout this whole season.
I'm not gonna lie, like Sam Hartman at Wake Forest, he really wasn't that bad. He really wasn't bad, honestly. I feel like him going to Notre Dame from the ACC to like an independent conference, I feel like Notre Dame is way better than Wake Forest, obviously. But like, I'm telling you, this could make Sam Hartman's shit jump. Like, this could make him jump for real, for real. I'm excited to see what he keeps doing going forward.
Yeah, and I mean we're going to touch on because they don't really have like any big games. Well, actually they do. Their first big test is against Ohio State, September 23rd. So like that's going to tell us like what this team is actually made of. But
Facts.
when they're a team that does not play in the conference, is like you only get so many chances to get that crack and make a name for yourself. They got Ohio State, USC, and Clemson. So those are three big games to watch out for. If like this team is actually legit and can actually, do that, they have to at least win one of those. I think they can have a real chance to win two, in my opinion.
I'm gonna say I think they got a chance to win too. But that's based off of just that week 0 performance. We gotta see them, we gotta see the ball keep rolling. We gotta see it with this team. We gotta see if Marcus Freeman and Sam Hartman keep these boys going.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now let's talk about USC a little bit.
Yes, sir. I mean, and like I said, this is a team that they're gonna play later down the line, a couple weeks in October. They're gonna, Notre Dame will be playing USC. And what I see from USC is kind of what was expected when we was giving our predictions. If we could go back a couple episodes, I said they're going to have a good offense. They got one of the best receiving cores in the nation. They got the number one receiver in the class of 2023. He showed you why he's the number one receiver. He put up a receiving touchdown and a kick return touchdown. They're explosive. They're electric. They're all of the above. But on the other hand, there's two sides. There's two sides of the game, ball. It's offense and defense, and I've always worried about their defense. And I like their quarterback. His name's kind of tough to say, but the quarterback from San Jose State, like he played pretty good. Like he showed up. He showed up as a gamer, as a baller, and I think like if you let San Jose go out there and put up 28 points on you, I just can't imagine what a legit Oregon, Washington, what them teams can do to Utah. Like those, like so I think they got some stuff to clean up on defense. Because I'm gonna be honest, this game was like the game is closer than what the final score said. Like I'll say for about three and a half quarters, San Jose State was in that game until Zachariah Branch took that kick return back to the crib. After that, kind of got out of hand. But for a lot of that game, it was just like San Jose State is a couple plays away from being able to tie this game up or taking the lead. But all in all, USC is ranked number 6 for a reason. The talent that they got over there is just so much greater than the talent that they got over San Jose State. So that kind of showed later in the game. But I'm not too happy about the performance I've seen from USC. Like, if you are high on USC going into the season, I don't know if you still feel as good as you did watching that game against San Jose State. Like I said, the offense is always going to be electric. That's just what you're going to have when you have one of the best receiving cores in the nation. You got Caleb Williams, the reigning Heisman winner. You're going to have a good offense. It's the defensive side of the ball that I'm worried about. I'm being honest with you.
Man, we thinking the same thing, honestly. Like, I'm going to do my takeaways from this game. Obviously, Caleb Williams, phenomenal. He's your Heisman winner last year. He looked great. Obviously, like Caleb Williams is a special talent. As in transfer from Oklahoma, he followed Lincoln Riley over to USC. Zachariah Branch, he showed you why he was the number receiver in the class of 23. He looked phenomenal. He looked good. I mean, he was just out there balling. Like Khalil said, their offense is always going to be great. That's just USC. That's just obviously we have a Lincoln Riley-led offense. He's coaching that team. Lincoln Riley is all about his offense. We've seen it before. But we let up 28 points to San Jose State. You're the number 6 ranked team coming into this season. It's like head scratching. It's like, hold on. Like, What is this? Like defense, what y'all doing? Y'all supposed to be smacking these dudes. Y'all supposed to do them how Notre Dame did the Navy, in my opinion. But it's like you said, San Jose State, they was in that game. And I'm watching, and I'm like, is this what we seeing from USC? Like, bro, I mean, they're Pac-12 comp. I mean, again, it's just week 0, but it's like it makes you think like they're Pac-12 comp, the Oregons, the Washingtons, the Utahs. What are they gonna do with those teams? Because those teams' offenses can put up points on you. Those are sneaky teams. We've seen USC get beat by Oregon at the end of the year last year that knocked them out the college football playoff. We've seen it. USC, you got to tighten it up on defense for real. Like, again, it's just week 0. I'm not going to overreact too much, but it's like, y'all defense, bro. Y'all got to get it in check. Like, ASAP. 28 points to San Jose State. I'm not going to lie. No disrespect to any team, but San Jose State, in comparison to USC, what are we talking about here? What are you talking about?
USC is the number 6 team in the nation.
Exactly. The talent gap is not even close. It's wide. So it's like, you laid up 28 points. Like, they only lost. I mean, they lost by double the score. It was 56-28. But all in all, congrats on winning USC. But y'all got a long ways to go, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Y'all got a long ways to go if y'all want to make a college football playoff appearance this upcoming year.
I think I've mentioned something that I kind of didn't think about, and like now that you mention it, it makes more sense. This is a Lincoln Riley led team at the end of the day, and that's been an issue with Lincoln Riley led teams, even going back to Oklahoma with Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray. They always had a good offense.
Always a good offense.
But the defense could not stop anything. And it's like, you're gonna run into problems. Good thing for USC, their first 5-6 games, including this past game,
they're winnable games.
They're all easy, winnable. They all should be winnable games that you should really not have no issue with. Put some, like, I respect Arizona State, Colorado, Arizona, Stanford, but that's not a cream of the crop. But you look at their schedule and you kind of go a little deeper. You got on the road to Notre Dame, then you got Utah at home, then you go to Cal, which is like a little bye. Then you got to go back home against Washington. Then you got to go to Eugene. Like, their schedule is not easy for them later down the line. And they have some things that I want to preface this by saying it's only week 0. There's a lot of time for improvement. Like, it's not like, they got Texas next week after their first game, kind of how Bama, Bama opens up their season, then they go to them. But they got, it's nothing like, they don't have nothing like that. So they have room to grow. But this is a Lincoln Riley led team at the end of the day. So any indication from Lincoln Riley, like, he has never given you an indication like he's going to figure out the defensive side of the ball. Like, they're going to patch up the holes that they got on defense. So from that standpoint, I'm just like, they're going to be one of the top offenses, because I feel like with the talent that they have, they're just going to put up that many points. But when you start to run into more of these legit teams like that can score just like y'all, and they have a better defense, I think
you're gonna be in for a fight.
We're going to be in a room for some trouble. So all in all, I say, USC did go out there, put up 56 points. Good. They did what they had to do. But, man, it's hard. It's hard, man. It's hard.
Yeah, it's
hard, man. It's hard looking at that team on defense side of the ball.
For sure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what y'all think about week 0. Obviously, the two main teams to talk about were Notre Dame and USC, due to them being ranked. All the other games of week 0, they were pretty good, but let us know what y'all think about week 0 college football. Let us know what y'all take away from week 0. Let us know what y'all think about USC and Notre Dame. Are these two teams going to be knocking on the door of a college football playoff, or are they going to be fall flat on their face? We know these teams pass when it comes to the end of the year or when it comes in crucial moments. Let us know what y'all think about that. Moving on, we're going to stay with the NCAA. We're going to talk about the Southeastern Conference, the SEC, obviously the best conference in college football, the most dominant conference in college football. We're going to give our rankings, our top 5 rankings from 5 to 1, and give predictions at the end of who we think is going to be in the conference championship and who's going to win the conference championship. I'm going to kick this one off. You already know me. I keep it a buck. Some people be disagreeing with my list, but it's whatever. I'm not here to hear none of that. I honestly low-key feel like me and Khalil's list might be the same. So I'm gonna start this one off.
Maybe similar. I think the lower tiers is where it may be different. I got to see who you got at your number 5. That'll let me know.
All right, well, let's go with this. Number 5, I got Texas A&M. Now, this is a team that went 5-7 last year. You got Jimbo Fisher leading this offense, leading this team. He hired Bobby Petrino to handle play calling duties this upcoming year. Connor Smith come back at quarterback. Y'all receivers Evan Stewart, Ananias Smith, and Musha Muhammad III come back receiver. That's pretty stout offense. The running backs they all right going into this year. Their defense, they only allowed 21.2 per game last year. But against the run, Texas A&M struggled big time. Again, last year, they were very disappointing. But their secondary, they got Damani Richardson returning at safety. So he should help that defense out. But again, they got to learn to stop the run. But I got them ranked at number 5, which is that's kind of where they belong in this conference. Let's be real.
Yeah, that's respectable. I like Texas A&M. I'm not hating on them, but I have Arkansas at my number 5 with KJ Jefferson. Okay. His last season wasn't as good as the season before, but I think they could build on that. All their losses came against ranked teams. Lost to Bama, LSU. LSU was a close game, 13-10. They lost to Liberty 21-19. They lost to Mississippi State. They got blown out in that game. But this was a team with one of the worst pass defenses last year. And I think if they can fix that, like they can win games and, make some noise in the SEC. I don't think they'll be one of the top teams, but I think that they make some noise, get a respectable, nice bowl game. And we got to also remember they do have one of the best running backs in college football with Raheem Sanders. Like he is arguably the best running back in college football right now. So I think this
so?
offense, huh? I said arguably. So? I said arguably. Okay. I probably won't have him at number 1, but you can make a discussion for him to be number 1. I'm not gonna lie. But the offense is going to be there. If they fix some of them things that they had on defense, being one of the worst pass defenses in college football last year, this could be a very respectable team in my opinion.
All right, I can respect that. Number 4, I got Tennessee. Now you lose a lot of offensive firepower. Now this is my thing. Are we confident in Joe Milton III at quarterback? If he doesn't pan out, you got Nico Iamaleava. He's behind him. Joe Hupel, his offense, you got to fix a couple holes on that offensive line. That's where their weak spot is, in my opinion. But they got Jabari Small and Jalen Wright in the backfield, so they're gonna help out Joe Milton III if he obviously doesn't fold. But their defense, I feel like the defense will probably be a strong point with a lot of offensive starters like leaving for the draft last year. They only let up 22.8 points per game last year. So can they improve on that, even though they only got 5 starters? But again, I'm not going to sleep on Tennessee. Like they made a run last year. They had a pretty good year last year. We can't forget that. So for that reason, I got them ranked at number 4, despite all their firepower being lost.
Yeah, I got them ranked at number 4 as well, respectfully. Kind of with the same things you said. They did lose a lot of firepower. They lost. Hendon Hooker. Dennis said he's a steal in the draft. All that other. Yeah. But yeah, you lose Hendon Hooker. You lose Jalen Wyatt. You lose a couple guys on the offensive line. But I'm not going to say I'm as high as everybody else in the nation seems to be as high on Joe Milton, because you got to remember he did have a job at Florida that he did lose. So, maybe he learned from that, got better, and ready to take the next step. So hopefully that's the case. But I do like what they have with, you still got Brew McCoy, you got Dante Thornton Jr. from Oregon. And, if he don't work out, you got one of the best quarterbacks out of the class of 2023 that can come in and make some noise. And, Dennis is not here to, give his piece and everything, but he did say Hendon Hooker would have stayed healthy, would have beat South Carolina and competed with Georgia to win the SEC East. I don't know. I don't think they're on Georgia level, but they have ample enough talent to, cause fits for every other team, the Kentuckys, the Missouris, all those teams that they have in the division as well. I think they're sitting right behind Georgia at that number 2 spot in the SEC East.
I feel that. All right, moving on to number 3. Number 3. See, number 3 and my number 2, like, it's a little bit tricky. But then I just came to my senses and I just kept it real. So number 3, I got LSU. Now, I like Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels, he got LSU to the SEC championship last year against Georgia. I mean, they got blown out by Georgia. Like, let's be real. A lot of teams got blown out by Georgia last year. They've been dominating the last 2 years. Let's be honest. But LSU was one of those teams that could come out of nowhere and stun you. I mean, Brian Kelly, him and them boys, they down in Baton Rouge at the Bayou. Jaden Daniels, I feel like he's going to just keep going up. He's going to keep getting better. The offensive line, they bring all 5 starters back. The secondary is probably going to be the weak spot on defense, but they bring back Harold Perkins on defense at linebacker. And Mason Smith, he back on the D line, so that should help. But LSU, they're always going to be loaded with talent at the offensive level. So I feel like this team, they're going to give teams fits as well, but I gotta have them at number 3. I just have to, because it's like I don't see them getting past the top 2 teams. Like they beat my number 2 team that I'm gonna say last year, but I don't see them doing that again. But I got LSU at 3.
Man, and I went back and forth on 2 and 3 too, like you did. But all in all, looking at the state of the teams right now, I have to put Alabama at number.
I knew you were gonna say that.
3.
I knew you were
I
gonna say
gotta
that.
put them at number 3. One, they lost the number 1 overall draft pick in the first round. Bryce Young, he's gone. He's out of there. You also lose Will Anderson, who was 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. But I mean, like, just looking at the team that they had last year, it wasn't too overwhelming, even with those guys on the team. Like, there was still, holes on the team. This is not the same Bama team, that, run the football crazy, have, the Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Jerry They don't
Henry
have those guys
Ruggs,
on
they
the
don't got
outside.
those guys no more.
Ruggs, all those guys, they don't have nobody like that. And that's respect to Jermaine Burton and everybody else. But those guys aren't that. Like, they don't have that same high power offense. I'm not sleeping on Nick Saban and what Nick Saban do, because Nick Saban is the GOAT for a reason. He's going to have these guys ready to play. But as of right now, we don't even know who's their number 1 QB. And like, that's kind of a hard thing, because when's the last time we really went into the season like questioning who's the number 1 quarterback, when you have Bryce Young to Mac Jones to Tua to Jalen Hurts? Like, you've had so many NFL quarterbacks and pieces around you. Like, they're in a space that they haven't been in before. Like, I think this is more of a rebuilding year. And I think that's going to reflect. The building year for Bama is not a rebuilding year for everybody else. Bama is still going to be one of the best teams in the nation, because Alabama is Nick Saban. Don't get me wrong. But rebuilding for Bama is not being in the playoffs. And I don't see Bama being a playoff team right now. I think you said they're ranked number 4. LSU is ranked number 5. Georgia's ranked number 1. We'll see how the season plays out, but I don't think going into the year they will be one of the best 4 teams in college football.
Yeah, honestly, I do see Alabama falling out from where they rank right now. Honestly, I feel like they're barely gonna finish top 10, but that's what I'm saying. I don't know. Like, the 2 and 3 was really close to me. Like, I don't know. And out of 2 and 3, we're gonna see who could win the SEC West. Obviously, at number 2, I got Alabama. Again, I'm saying it again. 2 and 3, Bama is right here. LSU is like right here. I'm just giving Bama that slight edge right here because the college's pedigree. No bias. Like, Nick Saban gonna have the boys ready to play. I mean, the biggest question mark is who's gonna throw that quarterback for this team. Got Tyler Buckner, Ty Simpson, and Jalen Miro. We obviously did a previous episode before where we all said Jalen Miro is gonna be the starter this upcoming year. We're gonna see. Like, this team is kind of underwhelming, like Khalil said. Like, Josh McKellen, he's back at running back for them. You bring back Kool-Aid McKinstry, Jaheim Oasis, Dallas Turner, they're coming back. All right, this team's also going to be a solid team, but I feel like it's either it's not them and LSU for that number 2 spot. But I'm just giving it to Bama right now. It's very, very slight edge. Like, it's really, really close. I could see LSU knocking them off again for the second year in a row, respectfully.
Yeah, I mean, kind of gave away my number 2. My number 2 is LSU. Year 2 for Brian Kelly. When Brian Kelly first made that move, I kind of questioned the move.
I did too.
It worked out for him last year. I think they'll be one of the best teams in the SEC, the best team in the SEC West. I got them winning the SEC West. You got Jaden Daniels in his second year within that offense. You got Malik Neighbors, one of the best receivers within college football. They revamped on that defense a lot. They brought in a lot of transfers on that defense. You got Jordan Jefferson, Omar Speights, Zy Alexander. Like, they have a lot on that defense that they rebuild and retooled on. I think this is a team that's going to win a lot of games and be very good. And we're going to get into this next episode about what teams that we're going to look for, what games we're going to look for going into week 1. but they got the premier game in week 1, in my opinion, just looking forward, looking ahead of it against Florida State. So we get an early test to see what this team is. And I think, they get their redemption against Florida State from last year. And I also think they prove why they're one of the best teams in the nation.
Yeah. See, bro, I was telling you, prior going to this episode, I had LSU at 2. But I made like a last minute switch like an hour before we started recording this.
I thought about it because
telling you.
somebody asked me like earlier today my top 5 SEC teams. So I told them what topics we were doing, whatever. And I put Bama at number 2, and then I sat down, really took the step back to, assess how I really wanted to go with it. And I looked at it and I was like, got to give it to LSU. LSU did win the division last year as well. And in my opinion, Bama didn't get no better. I gotta throw this out here. Bama did have the number 1 recruiting class in the nation. And that may play dividends in the future, but I think at some key positions and key roles, they still have they lack the talent in that, being the quarterback and receiver position in today's day and age in football.
All right. With that being said, obviously, I feel like me and him most likely got the same number 1. This is the best team in college football, without a doubt. Georgia. They're going to win the SEC. This team is dominant on offense, defense. Like, hey, it's like, what are we talking about here? Kirby Smart, he got the boys locked, loaded, and ready to fire on all cylinders every week. Now, you do lose your quarterback, Stetson Bennett, to the draft, but they got Carson Beck coming in to start, and they don't expect to see a drop-off within that offense. Georgia, they're going to run the ball down your throat. Their receivers are very athletic. They're going to get the ball. They're going to run you to the dirt. They're going to just tire you out and wear you out the whole game. We've seen this team make the jump. I feel like they made a jump in the 2020 season. And then 2021 is when they won they lost the SEC championship, but then they won the national championship. And then last year, they completely dominated almost every game last year. They barely defeated Ohio State in that college football playoff game. I feel like Ohio State should have won it. There's some questionable calls that caused Ohio State to lose, and then also that blatantly missed field goal kick. But then Georgia killed TCU in the national championship. So it's like, okay, this wasn't a fluke. They actually belong here. So, I mean, it's obviously Georgia. Like, it's nothing to talk about. You bring back Brock Bowers, one of the best players in college football, Lab Monkey and Dominic Lovett at receiver. And in the defense, it's like they're bringing back 7 starters. So, like, it's nothing to really talk about with Georgia. Like, number 1.
Pretty much said it. We both got the same number 1. I mean, this team, they're kind of what Bama has been for the last few years. They don't rebuild; they just reload. They did it. They did it the past 2 years. You lose all your big stars to the draft, they don't miss a step. And you kind of mentioned the last time we seen this team, they rolled TCU. Like, everybody had that game off by halftime. Like, that game was terrible. I remember watching that game. Like, nah, hold up. Like let me watch this game. We're gonna go to the gym after the game because you feel me. This should be a good game. And they killing them to the point where, like, I'm like, all right, man, let's go to the gym. Turn the TV on in the gym.
I stopped watching it by halftime.
It's getting worse and worse. And like, it's crazy because, they had that good game against Ohio State. You said, hey, maybe TCU, could give them something. And they went out there and dominated them. Even though they lose a lot of people to the draft, like you said, they got Carson Beck stepping up. That just brought in 2 receivers through the transfer portal that should come in and make some immediate impact. The running back room, they got one of the best running back rooms in the nation with the rotation that they got going on there with Kendall Milton and Dejuan Edwards. And then you got Roger Robinson, who's going to be a true freshman this year. And then I feel like I don't even really have to mention the defense. Like, the defense is going to be good. This is a team that don't rebuild. They just reload. Like, that's the motto that Alabama was in so long. We're not rebuilding. We're just reloading. That's all they're doing, reloading. They're not going to miss a step. And this is the team to beat for anybody in college football. And the benchmark that Georgia's setting is up here and everybody's right below it. And, as of right now, barring anything crazy happening, like, overwhelming favor to do it again, in my opinion.
All right, SEC Conference Championship predictions. Again, I got Bama slightly edging and winning the SEC West. Obviously, in the SEC East, I got Georgia coming out. So I got Georgia, Alabama in the SEC Championship. I got Georgia. I'm not gonna say they're gonna kill Alabama because I'm not gonna disrespect Alabama and Nick Saban like that, but they're gonna beat Alabama. They're gonna win the SEC.
I think LSU may lose to Bama in the regular season because they got to go to Tuscaloosa this year. You know, it's never easy to win in Tuscaloosa. But I just feel like there's going to be a game where Bama slips up and lose that gives LSU that edge over them, even though they beat them during the regular season. And somehow LSU, comes out of the West as the division winner somehow. I just like with Bama, it's just so much uncertainty. I feel like it's going to show up in a game. It might show up in week 2 against Texas. I think Texas, like we talked about last year, Texas
could beat
should have beat Bama. If Quinn Ewers didn't get hurt, should have beat Bama. So I think that's going to happen. That might happen this year. It is in Tuscaloosa, that game as well. So that's on Bama's side. But I think LSU still takes this that division. Georgia runs through the East, no problem. And then Georgia beats LSU in a good game. I think it'd be a good game, Georgia and LSU. But
we said that last year. Now, Georgia killed them.
Now I know, but as of right now, like it's not a team I can put above them or like close to them right now.
Yeah,
it's Georgia. It's Georgia's national championship to lose as of right now.
So with that being said, what you just said, the main question is: can Georgia three-peat? Can they make it 3 years in a row?
I think it'd be hard, and only reason being like Michigan, man. I really do. I like what Michigan got in the trenches. Like it's what Michigan got in the trenches. Ooh. That's what's always separated Georgia, in my opinion, is what Georgia had in the trenches. They had them dogs in the trenches, offensive line and defensive line. Michigan got one of the best offensive line in the country. I mean,
like they have the best.
I'm talking about like at least 8 of those offensive linemen can get drafted to the NFL this upcoming year. Like that's how good that offensive line is. So I think, and what they have in the running game as well. So we'll see. We'll give our predictions next episode on how everything's gonna shake out, bowl games and all that. But man, I don't know. I'm gonna go back and forth on that one for a little minute.
I'm gonna say the same thing you said. I don't know if they could three-peat again. I mean, the back-to-back was impressive, especially with the last year's championship, with complete dominance over TCU. But can they do it 3 years in a row?
Shit, even three-peat. That's what
I'm saying. I was just about to say that. I don't know when the last time a three-peat has been done in NCAA. If Georgia win it for 3 years in a row, bro, Athens gonna be turned up, bro. Athens gonna be turned up. The whole state of Georgia gonna be turned up. I'm about to go out there.
I'm already debating about going to the Florida-Georgia game this year up in Jacksonville. So I might have to, turn up at Athens for the one time if they go three-peat just to see.
For sure. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, those are our predictions on the Southeastern Conference for the 2023 season with our top 5 teams in our conference championship winners. Let us know what y'all think about our list. Let us know who had the worst list and best list. Let us know who y'all think is a sleeper team in this conference. Let us know who y'all think is going to win the conference. Let us know who y'all think is going to be the worst team in this conference. Drop y'all predictions below in the comment section. All right, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the next topic, we're going to switch over to the NFL. We're going to continue with our top 10s. This time we're going to talk about the wide receivers. We're going to list our top 10 receivers heading into the 2023 season, going from 10 to 1. Again, I'm going to start this one off. Start my number 10. Now, I'm not going to lie. It was so many names I could put at number 10. I'm not even going to say my honorable mentions because, like, in the NFL these days, it's so many good, not even good, it's so many great receivers from 1 to, like, 15. Even the 1 to 20, it's so many great receivers.
20,
like,
bro.
It's nuts. Like,
and how still people you may leave out that 20. Like, any way you want to do it, like, it's somebody going to be left out.
Exactly. And you're going to be like, how you missed them? It's just, honestly, cream of the crop, in my opinion. So I'm going to start off with number 10. At number 10, I got Amari Cooper, Cleveland Browns. Now, Coop, he had a really quiet year. Coop is that guy that always has these quiet years at his position. He's very quiet. He's one of arguably top 5 route runner in this league. I don't care what no one says. He still got it at age 30. Coop is going to help Deshaun Watson out a lot, get his footing back as a quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, Coop last year, his quarterback was trash. He had Jacoby Brissett. Like, it's like, he still had over 1,000 yards and hella catches. So it's like Amari Cooper always been one of those underrated receivers. Sometimes he takes himself out of the game mentally, but again, he's still top 10 in my opinion. At number 9, I got Terry McLaurin, Commanders. Now, Scary Terry, again, one of those other guys that's always underrated. Don't do much talking on the field. He's go out there to play his game. This man has had so many different starting quarterbacks since being drafted to the NFL in 2019. It's like this man has never had a solid day one starter or a solid starter his whole career. The quarterbacks that he had were trash. Rest in peace, Dwayne Haskins. No disrespect to Dwayne Haskins because he's deceased now. But still, it's like, tell me who his best quarterback was. You can't. Like, they all were trash. So it's like, you can't fault Terry McLaurin, but what does he do? He still go out there, have at least over 80 to 90 catches a year, and has over 1,000 yards every year. And he's obviously that number one option on that offense, especially in the receiving room. Because, like, Terry McLaurin is very underrated. And that's coming from an Eagles fan. Love watching Terry McLaurin play. At number 8, I got CeeDee Lamb, Dallas Cowboys. Now, CeeDee, only thing that concerns me with him is his drops. He can be a bit of a better route runner, but ever since being drafted in 2020, this guy's coming and obviously became Dallas's number one. I mean, his rookie year, he had Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper. I mean, Cooper's gone, but they bring in Brandon Cooks. So, hey, Dallas got a nice, solid three-headed monster at receiver for Dak. And that's what I'm saying. A lot depends on Dak this upcoming year. But hey, we're not talking about Dak trash ass. We're talking about CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb, over 1,000 yards last year, a lot of catches. As the season went on, he got better. And this is not the first time he's done this. Like, ever since his rookie year, he's been killing it. I feel like CeeDee Lamb, maybe he goes up on this list, but guys above him, they are better than him, but I got to leave him there at that number 8, respectfully. At number 7, I got A.J. Brown, Philadelphia Eagles. Now, this is a guy who we said, oh, he could just run slants and 5-yard ends and just hitch routes. We seen the Eagles. We see him start off slow in Philadelphia a little bit because Philly didn't know how to use him. But come by week 5 or week 6, this man was phenomenal for Philadelphia. He had about 90 catches last year, over 1,000 yards, Pro Bowl player. Defenses, they didn't want to press him no more because they were scared of his speed at some point in the season. They were playing off of A.J. Brown. And A.J. Brown is a big physical receiver. Now, when it comes to those short routes, he's one of the best route runners in the league. A.J. Brown, he did have some questionable drops last year, but I feel like he's ranked right where he's ranked at properly on my list, and let alone in the NFL. I continue to see him helping Jalen Hurts out. Number 6, I got Stephon Diggs. Now, you could argue at some point Stephon Diggs was top 3. I got him right outside my top 5 as of right now. And you will see me, the next person I say, you're going to be surprised who I say is above him, but I'm just keeping it a stack. I mean, Diggs about to turn 31 upcoming year. Obviously, Josh Allen's number one weapon. Very underrated player. Not even underrated. He's not underrated at all. We know what Stephon Diggs do. Mess you up on the field, sauce you up, and then talk trash in your face right after he do it, and don't care. I see him just continue to be better. I mean, like I said, he's about to turn 31, but he's not going to take a drop off, in my opinion. But I got him ranked at number 6. At number 5, I got Cooper Kupp. Now, Cooper Kupp last year, he was on pace to break his 2021 season until he had a high ankle sprain that took him out for the rest of the year. That Rams team, he's the number one option on that Rams team. Team's very underwhelming. It's just him and Matt Stafford on offense. They don't really have nobody else. But Cooper Kupp is still that guy. I mean, we see him go crazy in 2021. Last year, until he had that high ankle sprain, he was going sicko mode in 2022. I feel like him fully healthy, I feel like he's going to get back into that top 5 range. I mean, this guy is phenomenal. I got him at 5. I can't put him no lower than that. I can't put him above that. He has to replicate what he did the prior years. But Cooper Kupp is very underrated in that regard. He showed y'all that last 2 years. I got him at 5. Number 4, I got Jamar Chase. Another guy who you could argue he's top 3. Ever since his rookie year, Jamar Chase been on a tear. Now, last year he did miss about 4 to 5 games due to a lower body injury. But right when he came back, he picked up where he left off without a doubt. And this is playing with T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. The Bengals have the best, I'm going to say the best wide receiver trio in the league. But Jamar Chase is that guy. His rookie year, he showed you he's out there cooking DBs as a rookie. Last year, he giving people work still. Like, he's scary to play against. And I mean, I know he's only 6 foot, but he'll jump up over you and moss you. Like, he'll do all that. He'll sauce you up in the short game. Like, he'll sauce you up in the slot. He can do it all. He's Joe Burrow's former LSU teammate, and they obviously got a thing going over there, and they doing their thing. So I got Jamar Chase at number 4. Now, from 3 to 1, you could argue all of them are number 1, but I just think it's clear cut for sure. Number 3, I got Tyreek Hill. Now, a lot of people are saying, hey, this ever since Tyreek Hill first came in the league, oh, he just fast. He can't catch. All he can do is return kicks. He made a Pro Bowler his first couple years as just a special teamer. But these last, I would say 5-6 years, Tyreek Hill has made a Pro Bowl as a wide receiver.
Oh.
Now, yeah, fast receiving league without a doubt. Like he's electric fast. That's why they call him the cheetah. Only thing I'll say about Tyreek Hill, he still catches with his body a lot. I mean, I know he's only 5'10", but he still catches with his body a lot. And he does need to work on his route running. Someone here thinks Tyreek Hill is a good route runner. I think he's a mediocre route runner. He uses speed to his advantage. Obviously, he can do that, though. When you're running that fast, Tyreek Hill is only going to get better. I mean, he's almost 30. He's going to continue to help Tua out. But he got Jalen Waddle as well, the mentor. But I got Tyreek Hill at number 3. At number 2, I got Devontae Adams. Now, before Justin Jefferson went crazy the last 2 years, Tay Adams was number 1, without a doubt, for 3 years in a row. Tay Adams didn't drop off at all when he went to Vegas after leaving Green Bay. Tay Adams kept going. He killed it. This is a new division, new team. He was his team's leading receiver, obviously. Tay Adams is just that guy. There's not much to say about him. A lot of people thought Aaron Rodgers was the one making Tay Adams. But no, this guy goes to a different team. And obviously, in my opinion, with a mediocre quarterback in Derek Carr, and still puts over 1,000 yards easily. Like, it wasn't even close. Devontae Adams is going to be your DB's nightmare. Any DB he plays, all defensive coordinators are like, dude, how do we stop 17? You could double him, he going to kill you in a short game. You could not double him, he going to kill you one-on-one with the back shoulder catches and everything, the fade routes. Devontae Adams is just that good. Number 1, I got Justin Jefferson, Minnesota Vikings. Ever since the rookie year, it pains me to see Justin Jefferson in purple and gold because the Eagles should have took him instead of Jalen Reagor. I'm not going to talk about that because I'm going to get mad.
Dennis out here because he the one that defended that.
He did defend the Eagles taking Jalen Reagor. I cannot stand Jalen Reagor. I don't know how he's in the NFL. I think Jalen Reagor freaking stinks. But we talk about Justin Jefferson here, the best receiver in the league. Been developing his game ever since the rookie. He's outright the number 1 receiver in the league. Like it's close between, again, 1 through 3 is close. You can rank them all number 1 if you wanted to in their own regards. But Jez is just different, bro. I feel like he's gonna be the number 1 receiver in this league. I want to say like the next 5 years. He only getting better, man. So that's my top 10. The best, obviously.
I don't hate your top 10. It's pretty good.
Surprisingly.
It's one of your better ones. A lot of our stuff within our top 10 is kind of identical. It's a little tweaks, but kind of around the same realm. If I jump into it, my number 10 is Terry McLaurin. He set his career high in receiving yards, like you kind of mentioned before. Like, he hasn't really had a good quarterback, and maybe that's some of the knock on him because I do like. I'm gonna refer back to Dennis because he tries to defend him against certain receivers. I get the quarterback situation, but still at the same time, like, we can't always make that excuse. When you make that excuse for D-Hop, when D-Hop was doing what he was doing with, Brock Osweiler and whoever else they had.
Ryan Mallett.
So, like, yes, like, I understand it, but that can't be the end all be all, especially when somebody's doing better than him. But I do have him at my number 10. I think he's a problem out there in Washington. That he's just not going to get the recognition and love. He's not a brash, outlandish, like, loud receiver. Like, he just one that comes in, make plays, do his thing, that kind of thing, and then go about his business. My number 9, I got Deebo Samuels. Didn't have a good season last year. He played 13 games. Last season, like, if you look at it, it's like it wasn't that good. But if you look at what he did in 2021, over 1,400 yards, 6 touchdowns, plus a plethora of other things he did in the running game. Got over 300 yards of rushing within the running game. So I think that's that added aspect that makes him a top 10 receiver, is just his playmaking ability, besides just running routes and all that. And I think Kyle Shanahan gets the most out of him, given his skill set. I think he's in the best system, and he's tailor made for what they want to do there. He's the perfect player. I think the only other player that can kind of do what he do at a higher level would be Tyreek Hill. But all in all, I think there's not many Debo Samuels out there doing what Debo do. But at number 8, I got CeeDee Lamb as well. He had a career year last year, set career highs in receiving, catching the whole 9 yards. It was his first year as a number 1 receiver. And I'm not gonna lie, he did not disappoint. He went out there, he did what he had to do. Like, people try to say like Terry McLaurin and stuff like that is better than him. I just don't see it. Don't get me wrong. CD has his issues with, drops and stuff like that. But all in all, as a receiver, I mean, he put up over 1,300 yards last year. I think it was like top 5, top 7, one of them last year. Just receiving alone, he had 9 touchdowns too. So like he got into the end zone. I think him and Dak just built a good enough connection to where like it's like seamless, like flawless. I think he's one of the receivers like him, you kind of love him, but you can't put him up above the other receivers. Like, there's just too many good receivers to put him above. Yeah. And like, facts. And I'd be looking at stuff and I'd be like, dang, like doing this is like tough because like it was good receivers we had to leave off this. He was just a good receiver. I had to put at 8. Like, I think he has better talent than 8, but I just can't put him up against the guys that's in front of him. And at number 7, I got AJ Brown, career highs all across the board for him. I mean, you could contribute that to, you having another star receiver who was left out of this top 10, but some people could argue his top 10 with Devontae Smith playing next to you. That stout run game, offensive line that they had, so you kind of get blessed with a little bit more single coverage. But he did average 17 yards per catch last year. That's number 1 in the NFL. That's crazy. Like, the plays was there to be made, and he made them. He only had 88 catches, which was a career high for him, like career highs all against the board. 11 touchdowns. He did it all. I think when Philly acquired him last summer, it unlocked something. It unlocked what that offense can be at a very high level, because you have to be honest to so many things, and I think he made that happen. He made, don't get me wrong, Devontae Smith is a very, very good receiver, but he opened up the game for him as well, so he can get his a little bit more as well. But I got him at number 7. Not gonna lie though, I kind of went back and forth on my 5 and 6. Number 6, I gotta go with Jamar Chase. I put Jamar Chase at number 6 because on my notes I visually put him at 5, then I flipped him to 6, so I kind of flipped him around. But he was kind of hurt last year. He put up over 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. It was a pretty good year for him. He had 87 catches, which was a career high. So, what could have been if he would have played those 5 games that he didn't play, we don't know. We have to see it. But I think for me is I need him to be there and, do like kind of put, I need to see the numbers. I see the talent, but now I got to see the numbers just to put him up above some of the guys that's above him. I think he's slightly more talented, but until he produces the way that some of those guys produce, I cannot put him above some of those guys. And some of those guys being at number 5, I got Cooper Kupp. We got to remember what he did 2 years ago, man.
I'm telling you, bro, you can't forget about that.
Yeah, like the Triple Crown is something that does not happen very often. I think only 2 other players have ever did a Triple Crown, and he did that with 145 catches, over 1,900 yards, and 16 touchdowns. Like, that's insane. Like,
he literally could have had 2,000 yards. He literally could have had. He almost had 2,000 yards as a receiver.
He was in conversation for Marvin Harris's receiving record last year. I mean, 2 years ago, and kind of like you kind of mentioned, he was on pace. Think about this, bro. He played 9 games, so he missed pretty much half the season. 17 games, he missed 8 games. He only played 9. He still put up 75 catches, 812 yards, and 6 touchdowns. He had over 800 yards
in 9 games.
In 9 games. That's crazy. Like, you gotta put him up there. I like the thing with Cooper Kupp is he doesn't do it the same way everybody else do it. He's not Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown. He just knows how to play football. He's a
fundamentals.
He's a better Julian Edelman. Like, Julian Edelman, he wasn't one of them guys that blew you off the screen, but he just knew how to play football and knew how to get open. And I think that's the same thing with him. is that he just knows how to play football and he knows how to get open. And then the connection him and Matt Stafford built within a year, like you got to remember, like the year that he did all that, that was like first year playing together, and they went crazy, and they were going crazy last year until the injuries happened. So for that alone, I had to put him in my top 5, and I had to put him above Jamar Chase. Nothing against Jamar Chase. I think he's a very talented receiver. I just have to see him produce at a high level. And I don't need, Cooper Kupp numbers. Those are insane. 1,400 yards, 1,350, 14. Can we get somewhere around there? And then you start to get into question with some of these other top guys around the league. But my number 4, I got Stephon Diggs. He had over 100 catches last year, over 1,400 yards, double-digit touchdowns, back-to-back years. He is the receiver for the Buffalo Bills. I love Gabe Davis. I've been following Gabe Davis way before he was people even knew who he was back in college. I watched him play in college. He played football right down the street with my cousin, like the whole 9 yards. So I've been on Gabe Davis. But Gabe Davis hasn't taken that step to be a legit number 2. So it's really been Stephon Diggs. He has Gabe Davis has his flashes here and there, but it's really Stephon Diggs making the plays for him. And you see it in the game. And that's kind of what the turmoil in Buffalo is. It's just Stephon Diggs knows the offense has to go through him. He has to touch the ball. If Buffalo wants to win anything, it has to go through Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. He's the driving force. That's why he's still in my top 5. I see that you had him at 6, but I think as well as the polished route running that he has, he's one of the best route runners in the game.
Oh yeah.
He just knows how to get open the whole 9 yards. So for that alone, I had to put him at number 4. At number 3, and you kind of mentioned you could put these top 3 in any order you want.
Any order you want. I'm telling you.
At their best, the whole 9 yards. But at number 3, I gotta go with Tyreek Hill. And man, it kind of hurts. It hurts me to put him at number. I love Tyreek. I love watching him play. Like you kind of mentioned, he came in the league as a special teams player, all the above. But he made his name for himself as a receiver and as a premier receiver. And, a lot of people thought he was going to take a step back, coming from Mahomes to Tua. People got their question marks from Tua and everything that they've been through, But the fact of the matter is he's had his best career year last year. Career high in catches with 119 catches. Career high in receiving, over 1,700 yards receiving. He only had 7 touchdowns, but the numbers that he was putting up at the clip he's putting up, you got to remember, Tua wasn't there the whole time. He was even doing this with the backup, Skylar Thompson and Teddy Bridgewater. That's who they had throwing the football, and he still made plays. And some of it may be a case of you got Jalen Waddle on the other side that could open the field as well. But when you watch that team play and you watch how they use him, he's a matchup nightmare for anybody. And like I mentioned earlier with the Deebo Samuel, Tyreek Hill does everything that Deebo Samuel does on a higher level. It's just Kyle Shanahan would love to imagine if Tyreek Hill used the way that Deebo was used, bro. It would be insane. It would be unfair. And I think you kind of see that because of
Mike McDaniel. He used to coach with Kyle Shanahan.
Mike McDaniel, who used to coach with him, and you see what is happening. That's why Tyreek is at my number 3. He can easily be number 1 in my opinion, but
he can. That's what I'm saying.
I can't put him above my top 2. Number 2, I got Devontae Adams. He's been doing it. He's been doing it year in, year out for a while now. And it's kind of hard. I reluctantly moved him to number 2. And I think he kind of got overshadowed last year. One, he wasn't playing with Aaron Rodgers, so he wasn't on TV as much. Raiders wasn't that good. They had their turmoil. They really wasn't that good of a football team. Josh Jacobs did what he did last year. But go back and look at it, bro. He still put up 100 catches, over 1,500 yards, and 14 touchdowns.
With Derek Carr.
With Derek Carr and Jarrett Stidham and whoever else they had out there, he was still number 3 in receiving. Chill out. Not too much. Don't get me started.
I'm chilling.
Don't get me started.
I'm chilling.
He was still number 3 in the league receiving, only behind Tyreek and Justin Jefferson. He is still the best route runner in football, man. When you watch him play, if you got any kids out there, if you young and you playing football, go watch the Devontae
Monte
Adams.
Adams. Monte Adams.
Just watch him run routes, bro. It's a thing of beauty, man. It's a
Like
thing
that
of
man
beauty.
made Ocho Cinco cry while running routes, bro.
Exactly, bro.
He
Exactly,
brought
bro.
Ocho
It's a
Cinco to
beauty.
tears.
It's a thing of beauty when it comes to him. But I had to put him at number 2 just because of my number 1, Justin Jefferson. I mean, what can you say about him, bro? This is only his third. Listen, he's only been in the NFL for 3 years, bro. Crazy enough, he's gotten better every year. And I'm gonna just run through it real quick. As a rookie, 88 catches, 1,400 yards. First of all, that's crazy. You follow up your sophomore year, 108 catches, 1,600 yards, 10 touchdowns. And then last year, outdo that with 128 catches, 1,800 yards, and 8 touchdowns. And I know they won, Vikings are overrated. They won going a whole attention about the Vikings.
They were last year. All right.
When you watch them play, bro, like that offense runs through Justin Jefferson, like the plays that he made. The first thing that comes to my mind is that catch in that Bills game that they won. That was catch.
He was like this.
Yes.
Well, the
DB had 2 hands.
The DB had 2 hands on it. Yes. And Justin Jefferson was like this.
Yes.
I was like, what? I almost threw my man. I had some Henny in my hand. I almost threw that on TV.
Bro, like the pace that he's on right now is on another level. Like only 3 years in the league, he's almost at 5,000 yards. He got 25 touchdowns already, and he's only going into his 3rd year. Like he's still on his rookie deal. He still got 2 years on his rookie deal. What he do on a football field has been crazy, and like if I'm day 1 too, I'm tight 2. They ain't draft. They pick Jalen Rager over. I'm like looking back at how did he even fall?
How he slipped that? Low? How did he slip to number 19? How did he slip to number 19?
How do you fall that low? And like
Henry Ruggs was selected over him. CeeDee Lamb was selected over him. And Jalen Rager was selected over him. Jerry Jeudy. It's like, bro, those are all receivers that went to like higher schools. Like, I mean, LSU was a great school as well, though. Like,
I mean, he came out.
You saw what he did. It's like you saw what he did in the Natty. You saw what he did in the playoffs. The only
one you could argue for back then was Jerry Jeudy, because Jerry Jeudy
that's it.
Jerry Jeudy in college, he can run any route you want. But other than that, like there's nobody like how else he fall that low. Like that was crazy to me. And he has a chance to have, based just on the pace that he's been going on, a Cooper Cup type season and maybe a record-setting season. All in all, especially if he stay healthy, Kirk Cousins is not a bad quarterback, so he could run the league for a while, man. But that's my top 10. There you have it, the best top 10. Even though it's similar, a couple tweaks, but gotta give it the best. Y'all expect that from me, so I gotta give it to y'all.
I disagree with Debo saying at number 9. I just don't. He's not really a complete receiver to me. He's more like I would say like an athlete. You use him everywhere, like you said, but I know that adds an extra, that gives him an extra bump a little bit, but I still don't see him outside of my top 10.
I think that was the only thing that like gave him that extra bump, is just all the other stuff he does well makes up for some of the things he may not do as good as a receiver as some of these other players, like as just a sole weapon on the football field. Like that 2021 season, like he did.
Oh, it was nuts. Not gonna lie.
He literally did everything. He took a step back. He had some injuries. Christian McCaffrey come in, Brandon Ayuk take a step, so his numbers dropped. They wasn't that good, but all in all, like I just had to give respect to everything he can do on a football field. I think, like especially when you talk about receiver, like the ability to be a playmaker in any way, shape, or form, like it all matters. That's what make Tyreek Hill number 3, or arguably number 1. Is just not only what he can do catching a football, how he can take a jet screen, how he can go in motion, take a quick screen to the crib. Like I think all that matters in a sense.
For sure. Again, that's our top 10 receivers going into the 2023 season. Again, man, there's so many talented receivers in this league. We could have did a top 20, but that would have been too much. But other guys that was left out, they not trash. It's just too many good receivers from number 1 to 10 in our opinions. But let us know who had the best list. Let us know who had the worst list. Let us know who y'all think was left out. Again, a lot of underrated receivers in this league. Let us know who I think is going to go crazy this year. Let us know who I think got the best chance of replicating what Cooper Kupp did in 2021 with the Triple Crown. But we're going to stay with the NFL for our last topic. We're going to give our top 5 head coaches heading into the 2023 season.
I'll start this one off. Number 5, I got Sean McVay. They had a down year last year. They kind of sold for the Super Bowl. Like all of us like to say, they gave up everything for it. But I think what he does, offensively, what he can bring to the table offensively, and as a coach team, like this is a guy who won a Super Bowl and made another. So from that standpoint, you gotta put the respect. And he's the youngest coach in the NFL when he first got into this league, and he's gotten better. He's gotten his team better. So I gotta put him at number 5.
At number 5, this was tough doing this too. I'm not gonna lie. This top 5 was tough. Besides, from 3 to 5 was tough for me. But at number 5, I got Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh Steelers. I love Mike Tomlin. Coming to the league 2008, he has revamped the Steelers team and made them like just good every year. Like hasn't had a losing season. They make the playoffs all the time. Like they have a chance to fight for the playoffs. It's like, what more do you want this guy to do? Like his team wasn't the best last year, but it's like he still does not have a losing record as a head coach. He have these boys ready to play every Sunday, no matter what the circumstances is. He's always about the next guy up mentality. He's always ready to have the boys play. He keeps them charismatic and fired up. He turned a lot of those grown men into like better men and better athletes all around. And the way he just is as a head coach, I just love him. Now, this is still a young Steelers team. I mean, they're coming off of their past years. We know what they did in the past years, but that's kind of irrelevant because they didn't get the Super Bowl out of it, as much talent as they had. But Mike Tomlin, you just can't disregard what he does as head coach, especially not him not having a losing season. I mean, they missed the playoffs last year, but he's just a remarkable, phenomenal head coach. But I got him at number 5.
At number 4, I got your number 5, Mike Tomlin. Like he's the standard. Like he does not lose. Like even when a down year, when they should not be good, like he still finds a way to have a winning record. They were 9-8. They had a chance to make the playoffs. Like that's like he has a Super Bowl on his record. He's been to another one. I think it's the level of consistency that he has no matter what's been going on. No matter if it's Big Ben on his last leg, no matter if he's out, they got to play with Mason Rudolph or whatever. They just find a way, and they don't do it in flashy ways or anything like that. If you want to watch, big plays and stuff like that, you're not going to turn on the Pittsburgh game. They just play sound, fundamental football. When you watch Pittsburgh play, they're a good ran team, and his specialty is the defensive side of the ball, and that defensive side of the ball has always been good since he's been there. That defensive side of the ball has always been legit.
Always ready to play.
So for that alone, I gotta put him at my number 4.
Okay, at number 4, I'm not gonna lie, I got Kyle Shanahan, San Francisco 49ers. Now, I want to put him at number 3, but it's just his inconsistency in those big games. Like we've seen him collapse with play calling in those big games. We've seen it in multiple championship games. We've seen it in the Super Bowl in 2016 when he was with Atlanta as their offensive coordinator. They fell on their face against the Patriots, 28-3. Like there's literally a national holiday in March because of him in that Super Bowl when he was with Atlanta. But talk about his San Fran days. He's been a coach of the 49ers since 2017. I mean, their first year in 2017, they didn't do too hot, but after that, they've been pretty darn good. I mean, he got a Super Bowl out of it. He didn't win a Super Bowl, but he's been to Super Bowl. He's been in multiple NFC championships, but he just can't get over that hump. I don't know what it is with Shanahan. He can't get over that hump when it comes to winning in the big moments. Great offensive play caller, offensive philosopher. That was Mike Shanahan, one of the greatest head coaches of all time. You can argue that if you want to, but Shanahan, I got him at 4 because he can't get over that hump. But I mean, he has one of the best rosters he's ever had going into 2023 with his Niners team. So we'll see if they can make some noise. But I got him at number 4.
See, so I think I'm gonna start some controversy here. You're not gonna. I don't know if you like it or not. You probably won't. But number 3, I got Bill Belichick. Respectfully, don't get me wrong. I get the resume. I get everything he's done. The coaching, him and Brady, they done ran the NFL for so long. But I gotta knock him down just because the moves he's made has been questionable lately, and they always have been questionable. And I think this is the thing with him; they've always been questionable. But when you have Brady in his prime, it masks a lot of things, and it covers up some holes. But you see, like last year, you put Joe Judge and Matt Patricia calling plays, a defensive
That was
coordinator
so
and
bad.
special teams coach. Like you
That was
make
so
moves
bad.
like that, and then you wonder why the team's not good. Like why your second year quarterback is not good is because you're not setting him up for good things. So stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. Like him as a defensive mind, it's second to none. What he, especially when he do to young quarterbacks, like he make young quarterbacks look like they never played football before.
Ooh.
Like you seeing Sam
We
Darnold out
seen
there
it.
and
We
talking
seen
about I'm
Sam
seeing
Darnold.
ghosts.
I'm seeing ghosts.
I'm
That
seeing,
was so funny.
yeah, like. But I just feel like what he's put together the last few years and what he put together before Brady, and I'm this is not all-time greatest head coaches. This is just head coaches as of right now. I gotta put him at number 3 just because right now, not because of the resume. This is not a resume thing. This is a 2023 season thing. So that's why he's at my number 3.
Well, I guess we both gonna spark some controversy because I got Belichick at number 3 as well. I mean, just like you said, this is not about what you've done in the past or overall. This is about heading into 2023. And I 100% agree with you. Very questionable decisions, especially when it comes to drafting. I mean, you got Christian Barmore out of the draft in the past. You just drafted Christian Gonzalez. You got Mac Jones in the past. I mean, cool, like a couple years ago. Also, you got a steal in Kyle Duggar as well. Let me not disregard that. Kyle Duggar is one of the upcoming safeties in the league. But Bill Belichick as a defensive mastermind, great, cool, phenomenal on defense. His defense always going to show up and show out. Top 10 defense year in and year out. But like Khalil said, when you had Brady for all those years, masking all your problems, and now Brady's left 3 years ago, Belichick has had 2 losing seasons out of his 3 since Brady has gone. I mean, you made the playoffs in 2021, but they got decimated by Buffalo. But talking about his decisions again, your draft moves and your free agency moves, they've been bad, like subpar. I'll say like a C- at best when it comes to his offseason. And then you got Matt Patricia and Joe Judge. It's like, bro, what are you doing? Like they're both no. Yeah, special teams coach and defensive coordinator like calling plays for your offense. Now I'm not going to talk. Like Mac Jones, I don't think he's that good. Honestly, never really thought he was good at Alabama. I'm not going to say he's trash, but he has to just what he does year 3 would determine if he's on my shit list or not.
Well, like I mean, he just was not like. You got to remember, like Mac Jones only played one NFL season, and then you give him 2 guys that never coach offense a day in their life to be his coaches and his mentors and take him to that next level. Like he's not going to go to a next level, like getting coached by a defensive coordinator and a special team coach. So like I kind of like I wasn't high on Mac Jones either. I said Mac Jones is what he is. Like when he came in as a rookie, like I feel like that's what he is. Like he's going to be a little bit better, but I don't think he's as bad as he was last year. I don't think last year was on him at all.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna say he's trash just yet. If he does it again in year 3, he's on my shit list. But again, it's like, but I'm cutthroat. I don't care. But Bill Belichick, it's just his question making. But again, this is going into 2023, not what you done overall. So I got him at number 3, respectfully.
At number 2, I do have Kyle Shanahan at my number 2. And I don't like how they dealt with this Trey Lance situation, everything that's been going on with this Trey Lance situation. Like, I don't like how they dealt with that. But if you look at what they've done with 3 of the last 4 years since they've gotten a competent quarterback, like he's been to NFC Championship, two of them, I believe, and a Super Bowl. Like he wins when the team is good. Like he's built one of the best rosters around him. Like you got to remember, this team was not good when he inherited this team, and he built this team up to be one of the best teams in the league. And some people have them winning the Super Bowl this year. I just don't. I give a credit what's credit is due because the offense been phenomenal. As long as you got a competent quarterback, Jimmy G, Brock Purdy, whoever, the offense has been phenomenal. He's putting guys in place to get head coaching jobs. I think of 3 right now off the top of my head that's come from the San Francisco teams with Robert Saleh out on the defensive side of the ball. You got Mike McDaniels, who's a head coach in Miami now, and now you got DeMeco Ryan. So like he's shown like it's like he can do it no matter who's the coordinator. Like he's going to have one of the best teams in the NFL. So for that reason, I gotta put him at number 2.
See, your number 5 is my number 2. I got Sean McVay. Now I know what you're gonna say. The Rams sold their soul for that Super Bowl. They gave away all these picks, and I agree with that. They did. But we can't disregard what Sean McVay has done since he's became the head coach of the Rams. Every year he's made the playoffs besides this past year. He got the Super Bowl out of it. He's been to two Super Bowls and won one. Been to multiple NFC championship games. I know last year they had a drop off, maybe because of injuries and unhappiness. But Sean McVay, just overall, he's one of the best coaches in this league. He is doing it all at a very young age. He's just phenomenal. Like, I can't put that to the back burner because of last year. Like, you could argue, like, you could switch McVay, Belichick, and Shanahan. You could argue that, but I'm not going to. I mean, if McVay craps the bed again this year and he keeps contemplating like leaving the team, like think about retirement, like make every excuse, because let's be real, the Rams are in definite rebuild mode. I don't think they're in reload mode. They didn't reload with anything, honestly. But I just Sean McVay, even though his roster is pretty bad right now, he's a great head coach. I can't disrespect him like that. I'm sorry.
I just like I respect it, but like I said, this is not, kind of like a lifetime achievement. It's kind of like, well, what have you done for me lately? And like, what do I see going ahead? And I just don't see anything good coming like ahead for LA. Like you and Dennis are way higher on the Rams than I am. I think they're going to be trash. I think they're garbage in my opinion.
Not all right, bro.
Like no, because y'all try to defend when we talk about divisions and all this other stuff. So I'm coming at y'all. I don't want to hear that. That's on record.
Sure.
I think they're garbage, bro. I don't think they're slightly better than
Cardinals.
Barely. They're not touching the Seahawks. Like I just don't know how they turn it around in the future, like near future. Like Matt Stafford's a year older, Cooper Kupp's a year older. They don't have young talent, and didn't have any first round draft picks this year. I think they got one coming up next year. But so it's not like they're revamping to like do something. So I think that's gonna like kind of knock down his coaching status just a little bit, because it's like he's not going to be able to muster up enough wins to at least be in the like. For example, Mike Tomlin, like for however his roster is, he's going to give you enough wins so his name is still up there. I don't know if Sean McVay can do that with the team that he got. But at my number 1, I think this is probably unanimous between both of us. Andy Reid. I mean, everything that he's been doing, he's always been a winner. He's always been one of the winning hand coaches. But if you look at what he's been doing since his time in KC, even before Mahomes, they were always a good team. They was always knocking on the door. The only issue with them has been their quarterback play. Like Alex Smith was good. You win 10, 11 games with Alex Smith. He's won. The last time he's not won at least 10 games was 2014 season. He won 9 games. 2015, 11, 2016, 12, 2017, 10, 18, 12, 19, 12, 20, 14, 21, 12, 22, 14. So like he's doing it even with or without Mahomes. Now that he has Mahomes, it just takes everything to another level. And when we look at best teams and best rosters in the NFL, like the Kansas City never really have a best roster. And you got Kelsey, you got Mahomes, you have Tyreek Hill, but you never really had a good running back, like a crazy running back in the backfield. You never really had a crazy defense, anything like that. Yeah, you got Chris Jones, Nick Bolton starting to come on, but besides that, like it's not like you got superstars all over the field, but he just makes it work. He's that coach that guys just want to play for him. They'll go to bat for Andy Reid anytime of day. They just want to play for a guy like that. So I got him at number 1, and he's going to be number 1 for a while, in my opinion.
For sure. Hey, I got Big Red at number 1 too. I mean, it's not much to say, like you said. He can do it with whoever. We've seen it in Philly. Only thing it was with him in Philly is he couldn't win the big one. Now we see him years later down the line. This man got 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. And since 2018, Arrowhead has been, like me and Khalil say, it's not even called the AFC Championship game no more. It's called the Arrowhead Invitational. Bro, the AFC runs through Kansas City. No disrespect to other teams in the AFC. There's a lot of great teams in the AFC, but the AFC runs through Kansas City. And like Khalil said, this team is not the best roster assembled team in this league. They probably like in the top 10, but darn sure not top 5, but they are a phenomenally coached team. And this team, their defense hasn't been the best. They've been like mid or below average. Offense is always going to be top 10, top 5 with Andy Reid at the helm. And I feel like he's made Patrick Mahomes better because Patrick Mahomes coming out of college, very raw, footwork was bad, his hips was bad, his tangibles were in. But he's made Patrick Mahomes into the best quarterback in this league since, I'm going to say, 2018, 2019. Mahomes won an MVP his first year fully starting. Like, that just doesn't come out of nowhere. I just feel like Andy Reid, like Khalil said, these players go for bat to Andy Reid. They love him. Well, he's been through his life as well, just to bounce back and just keep winning. He doesn't really have losing seasons in his career. His worst season with Kansas City.
He only got 3 losing seasons in 24 years.
Exactly. And this is why we had a debate. On before we started recording. We had a debate on the phone one day. Is Andy Reid the GOAT head coach or is it Bill Belichick? I mean, Belichick got the rings, but it's like he got more experience than Andy Reid.
Like Brady for that.
But you also have Brady for those all like at least 20 years. So it's like,
yeah.
It's like, well, you could make an argument for this. Those are our top 5 head coaches heading into 2023. Let's know who y'all think we left out. Let's know who had the best out of me and Khalil. Let's know who is y'all best head coach. Let's know who is y'all worst head coach in the league. Also, let us know in the comment section who y'all think could also jump into the top 5 after 2023. But all in all, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of episode 9. Thank y'all for watching or listening to whatever platform you guys are on. We appreciate the support we've been getting, our love we've been getting. Make sure y'all follow us on Instagram. We are almost at 100 followers on Instagram. Y'all got to get us over that hump, man. We've been putting out content. Y'all got to help us out, too. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe on this video. Interact with us, please. Also, take a look at our Patreon. We appreciate any Patreon supporters out there. Please, again, we love doing this for y'all. We love doing this for ourselves as well. We love coming on here and talking about sports. Again, sorry for Dennis not being able to be here tonight. He had football practice. He's still trying to make it in that aspect. But hey, it's a 2-man show. We got to continue this road.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Kind of like what Daywan touched on. Keep following us. Keep sharing. Keep commenting. We're almost at 100. Please help us get to 100 followers. We are going to have more content coming soon. Don't worry. We've been working on a few things. Content is coming. I got y'all. But as well, our next episode, we usually drop on Fridays. Be tuned for an early drop. Our college football special will be getting dropped on Thursday. We will have a special guest on for that episode as well. We will be having more special guests roll out, as we get into the season. But, keep commenting, keep sharing, keep liking, keep following us on all platforms. We appreciate the love and support we've been getting. Thank you.
All right, make sure you also follow our personal Instagrams. They'll be in the description box. Again, Patreon will be in the description box as well. Make sure you follow all our socials. Linktree is in the description box. Thank y'all for tuning in again to episode 9 of Before the Horn podcast. Take care.